Go get him, come on. All right, everybody, I'm gonna take you to my teepee. You can see it there in the background. First, we gotta cross this bridge I made with some old boards I found. There's a big creek that runs here. I don't know if you could see it, but those are all deer tracks. Named it Colt Creek after my nephew, who helped me discover this spot. That's just some dry sticks. You can burn that anytime. My bag, my toboggan. Gotta walk in here. It's quite the ways. And here's some clearing. As you can see, more deer tracks and deer urine everywhere. Quite a sight. A lot of beautiful deers here, but you probably want to see the teepee. $10 teepee. Camo tarp was $10. The green one was free. Found it. Had some holes in it and stuff. Old, sun worn, but it doesn't matter. It's just a little place to get warm in the bush. This is what it's like all the way around. On the bottom here I got spruce boughs and everything like that. That just keeps the snow from crushing the bottom. That's how I do it. But you probably want to see the inside, how I do her. So there's no sense keeping the bottom. See how my bottom's open? There's no sense keeping the bottom closed, like having it completely sealed off. You'll never be able to breathe in here. You'll never let oxygen in, and you'll never let the smoke rise if you're having a fire in here. I'm gonna go through a ton of misconceptions, and I'm gonna go through a ton of stuff people never talk about on YouTube with tarp teepees. They always pretend that they're perfect, nothing's ever wrong, fires happen in them, everything's good. That is not the case. That is one big lie. Big lie. I'm gonna tell you exactly what you need to do, how to have a fire in here, how to stay warm. So pull these two tarps off, and trust me, if you want to stay warm in here, this flap doesn't need to be closed just because there's cold air to coming in. That fire gets warm. That fire gets so warm, you don't even have to worry about it. You can leave this door open all night. It'll stay warm in there. Don't let anyone tell you different. You don't have to have the door shut. So let's step in. So I could stand in here. I'm about 6'3". Still a lot of room to the roof. Like I said, old tarp, taped up a few holes. One tarp doesn't have to be perfectly good. Both tarps don't even have to be. It'll hold heat. It won't matter. Like, this is a survival thing. I'll tell you why I use this in a minute. Let me sit down. I got two benches here, fireplace. So first thing you're probably gonna wonder is why is there charcoal wood there? Why do I keep charcoal wood? Well, once wood is dried out in the fire and charcoaled, it will be so much easier for you to start a fire. Your life will be so much easier because that wood, even if it's soaking wet, it'll dry up in a second and start burning. Charcoal wood is the best thing you're gonna have laying around. No, I sit in here comfortably, and I keep paper. I keep paper and cardboard in here. It stays dry. Everything stays in dry. The only thing, you get snow in through the roof. You get snow in through the roof, it falls in your pit. Okay, so you guys want to know the truth about tarp? If you're gonna stay overnight in a tarp, well, first I'll tell you what I do. I remove these, put them on this side. This is the warmest side of the tarp. You could see how all the heat goes back this way. Because the door, there's a hole in the bottom of the door that makes sure it pushes that way. So it's the warmest spot in the tent, and that's where I sleep when I do. You cannot sleep in a cot in a tent with an open fire pit. You cannot. You could if you want to, but it's very dangerous. You can risk rolling off your cot into the fire. And also, there's no such thing as a smokeless teepee. I don't care what anybody tells you, there's no such thing. The reason is because, see the frost? See the frost building up on all the tarp? Okay? That frost is there. If you don't use this tarp for a few weeks and you got to come in and you got to use this teepee, well, guess what? It's going to take about 6 hours to get all the frost off here. It's going to be one big steamy mess in here. There's not going to be anything you can do about it. You have to have the fire for hours. And if it's too steamy, and like you got to open up this door, like my door here, you got to open it up all the way. You got to leave half of this open. That's why you always got to leave one tarp for a complete open flat, because these tarps got to dry out. They're soaking wet. Oh, sorry. They're soaking wet. So it's going to be steaming the whole time, and it will put out your fire if you don't, right? So just expect when you first light a fire in here, just expect that it's going to be smoky. You cannot use any wet wood whatsoever in here. It will never dry. It'll never stop smoking. Okay, it'll just be smoking here. And if it's smoky in here, the whole point of a teepee, okay, like I was saying, you can't sleep in one in a cot. The whole point of a teepee is there's no smoke on the ground, right? So you have to lay on the ground to sleep here. You can't bring a cot in here. You have to use a piece of foam, only with an open pit fire. And you have to have rocks around it for your safety. Plus the rocks emit heat and they radiate heat in here. Even when the fire cools down and it dies down when you're sleeping, you'll still be warm. You'll get up, you'll redo it, you'll be fine. Those are just some things people don't know. Cedar is your best friend out here. Any cedar is going to be your best friend. Don't use live spruce or even dead spruce, because it has sap in it that creates smoke. That's not good for here. Spruce, yeah, it lights good and everything like that, but it's a very bad smoker. And that's another reason why I keep charcoal wood in here and fresh wood and board of cedar to get it going. I will start a fire here in a minute to show you how to do it and how it works. But once you get this fire burning hot and it's smokeless, because that's how a fire becomes, like, virtually smokeless. It won't be smokeless, but it becomes hot, right? The big flames, everything like that, will push everything way up the top, and you will have nothing to worry about. But if you're using spruce or wet wood or this or that, or you don't know what kind of wood to identify, then you're going to be in trouble. It's going to be very smoky in here. You're not going to save yourself. I wouldn't build a teepee if you're not good at building fires. If I were you, I'd build a lean-to, a tarp lean-to, much safer, much easier, less smoky, less chance of screwing up. And I'm also going to have a video coming up showing you my lean-to tarp that I stay in. Like, I don't stay in it, but I use it during the day while I'm building things out here. For anybody who's wondering, I have 118 acres of property out here, and I have little camps like this set up everywhere because it's expensive to build. Building something out of log takes a lot of time and effort. Putting up little shelters and tarps is cheap, effective, and it's going to save your life. And I'm miles away from civilization out here, so like if I get caught out here or something happens, it's going to take me hours to build a lean-to. I have them set up all over the property. I will be showing them all in different videos. I have some big builds, really good ingenuity with wood and things like that I can make with just like saws and axes and wood augers and stuff like that for drilling holes, all by hand, no power tools. And I'm going to be showing you guys a lot of fun things. This teepee is just one of them. I have stayed in here. It does work. Everything like that will save your life. You can see how dry it stays in here, minus the snow that I've moved in from the roof that was piling up when I got here. But a beautiful spot, middle of Canada. And like I said, this will save your life, but you have to have the right fire in it. You just have to, or it's just not going to work. And like I said, for those who can't build the proper fires or collect the proper wood in the winter, you don't know how to identify trees, you don't realize what stage of its life it's in because it's winter and all the leaves are off and maybe you can't tell bark, you're gonna have to build a lean-to, which I will have coming in my next video, show you how to do that and how they work. But I'm gonna get a little fire going in here, and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next. All right, everybody, so I'm gonna start a fire here. All I'm gonna need is a little bit of birch bark, a little bit of cardboard, some dry cedar. All you gotta do is get the cardboard first and get it all ripped up into small pieces. Smaller is better. Just throw it in there. And guys, when you're starting off a fire in the winter like this in your teepee, you're going to want to be doing it in small increments, because if you start off with a big raging fire in here, your tarps are way too wet, and it's going to be a steam bath in here. You got to gradually do it. That's why I said it takes about 6 hours to dry your teepee out, because you got to start off with a small fire, work to a medium one. Work to a medium one. Sorry, I'm just thinking while I'm doing this. And work to a medium one and maintain a medium one with dry wood. And if you have some wood that's going to be dry, has snow on it, put it near the fire like this stuff here. And it will dry out as your fire's going, and then it'll be able to go in without smoking. You can even like stand it up in here around the fire. I do that a lot. Lean it up against the rocks and let it dry as there's a fire going in there. It's usually the best. All right, so we got some cardboard, we got some sticks, and we got our trusty Zippo. So you got the smallest, finest sticks you can get first. They're nice and dry, and you're gonna want to put them under birch bark. And you're just going to want to start off small, and you're going to want some cardboard to the side to add in case it's going out or whatever the case may be. And then you just grab your paper. Just grab your paper. And just try to get that birch bark lit with it. Because once the birch bark's lit, it's gravy. And then you just start piling on your sticks still. Your small little shrubby sticks, because that's what's going to catch first. And you just make sure you're piling them on, utilizing all your birch bark and cardboard. I always keep some in my bag, and I always keep some in my tarp shelter, so it's never a big issue, but you might want to prep a little more, a little harder. And keeping your fire small in here, burning hot, is going to keep the heat in here and keep it from steaming up in here, and also keep it from getting too smoky. Bigger fires create more smoke, so that's just a given, right? That's going to happen. And it's really this simple, guys, to light a fire, as long as you're prepared. A prepared fire lighter is a lot easier than not knowing and never practicing, and not knowing your wood and never getting good at it, you know. This is a lot more efficient. And like I said, you kept that cardboard to the side. You can add in slivers. Don't forget, I just pulled these sticks from outside. These had snow all over it. Remember that pile I showed you earlier in the video? That was them. And like I said, it's already pretty warm in here. It's warmer in here than it is outside because you don't feel the cold breeze. So it's already starting. And I'm not gonna have time to build this fire up really big. And because like I said, it's going to take hours and hours. It is my father's birthday today, and I have to be out of the bush early to get picked up on the highway to go spend the birthday with him. So happy birthday, Dad. Love you, big guy. Can't wait to have some turkey with you. And for everyone who tuned in, thank you very much. Appreciate the support. And stay tuned to the channel, because I'm going to be having a bunch more videos on lean-tos, shelters, bushcraft, making my own bows and arrows, crossbows, everything out of wood in the bush, no power tools. Stay tuned if you're interested in stuff like that. Gonna make cool chairs, things you've never seen before. So thank you very much. Tune in, and I'll see you in the next one.